became friends freshman year and lived together again junior year. And then we stayed friends through the years. That was 20 years ago now.
Yeah. I think Amy's like at least I remember in college, was the mom of the group and always cared about everybody. Like, she was the best student ever. I mean, always did her homework, always went to class. I, on the other hand, was not.
Well, I had my first ever mammogram when I was 38, and I just had a regular physical, and the nurse practitioner said to me, "You should have a mammogram." And I was like, okay, I guess so. So I went and had a mammogram, and I was thinking it was no big deal at all. I was actually at the bus stop, and I said to my friends, I'm like, "Oh, I have a mammogram today, like no big deal, my first one." And then I thought nothing of it. And then I got back, and I'm like, that's not a big deal. I can't believe people make such a big deal out of it. It was easy, and I thought nothing of it. And then the next day, the nurse practitioner called, and she said, "Your mammogram does not look good, and you need a biopsy right away. We've scheduled it for Friday." And I was like, what? I literally almost fainted, because I never in a million years thought they would find anything. So I had the biopsy, and I was going to just have a mastectomy that same week. I was like, oh my gosh, just get it out. I want to be done. I want to just get it done. And then my neighbor, whose sister actually works at Norris Cotton Cancer Center, said, whoa, 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 put on the brakes. You need to make a plan. Don't just go have surgery. It's not a medical urgency. It's not urgent. You can wait and make a master plan. Don't just go quickly have a mastectomy here on the seacoast. Make a plan. So she got me into the Norris Cotton Cancer Center, and they scheduled all my appointments for one day. So I was able to see the oncologist, the surgeon, the plastic surgeon, the social worker, God love her.
Both times.
And who else? I guess that was it. Anyway, I was able to see everybody in one day, and they basically, they were going over all the different treatment options. And unfortunately, a lumpectomy was never an option. The way my breast cancer was, it was very spread out, and a lumpectomy was never even discussed. It was, I needed to have a mastectomy. And the choice was sort of do one side or both sides, and decided to do one side. But so I knew I was going to have that. And then they gave me videos to take home and to look at about the different reconstruction options. And so I took those home and met with Dr. Collins, the plastic surgeon, and went over the different options for reconstruction. And another reason that I wanted to go to Norris Cotton is because locally there was not, at that time, which was a few years ago, there was no option of doing immediate reconstruction. It was do a mastectomy, and then when you recover later, decide what you want to do. Whereas this was all done at the same time. So I decided to go with the reconstruction, the immediate reconstruction, and I decided to do the implant because the other one, the tram flap, I guess, was just a lot more invasive, and I didn't want to involve any other body parts that were fine. I also didn't have the fat. I didn't have quite enough body fat to do it. So I ended up doing the immediate reconstruction. So it all happened quickly. I was diagnosed in October, and I had my surgeries in November.
Well, Amy had called me just for a whim. I think we were trying to get together with one of our other college roommates to plan something, and she said, "Oh, I had my mammogram today." And I said, "You haven't had a mammogram yet?" And when I heard later on that it was positive, I was a little freaked out because when you were 38?
I was 38, yes.
I was 39. It was just never in the realm of possibility for me. And I just said, "Oh, I'm going to do it the way they tell you to do it. Do the real breast exam." And I did, and I'm like, that kind of feels weird. But it never would have been in the realm of possibilities had she not been diagnosed. And the next day, I had a wonderful doctor who went in, and she said, "Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it doesn't feel like anything scary. It was more globular. It wasn't like a little rock like you would think it would be." And I said, she said, "Well, you can go have a needle biopsy." And I said, "Well, what if," at this point, I was so worried about Amy, I didn't want them just to say, "I'm okay." I wanted them to prove to me that it was okay. So she was very kind, very understanding, and sent me to get an ultrasound. When the surgeon did the ultrasound, she said, "I don't feel comfortable just doing a needle biopsy. I really think we should just do a lumpectomy. Is that okay with you?" And I still wasn't panicked at that point. I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, get rid of it. I don't." If there's anything in there, I don't want to watch it. You just let it go. And my husband knew that when I came out, she said if she hadn't had surgery, I'd say it's cancer. And she called me the next day and said, can you and your husband come in? And I said, it's cancer, isn't it? And she goes, well, why don't you and your husband come in? I said, it's cancer, isn't it? She said, yes, it's cancer. So then I called Amy. Like, to absorb all of that information and really, it takes a lot. It rocks your world initially. And like Amy said, you're on fire initially. Like, okay, take it off, take everything off. But they make you just calm you down. Let's look at all the facts. Let's look at what we can do. And that, I felt more guided there. I felt like it was more a family atmosphere and more a group atmosphere where there were more eyes on you, not just a surgeon that wants to cut, basically.
And when when Cathy got her diagnosis, I immediately emailed Carrie Rosenkrantz, who was my breast surgeon, and right away she wrote back and said, of course I'll see her, I'll get her in quickly, here's what you need to do. After we did the lumpectomy and we made the decision to go to Norris Cotton Cancer Center, the next surgery was the sentinel node biopsy, and that's where I met Carrie and talked to her, and then we discussed options. And I had also met with Dr. Kaufman, who said the same thing to me. I was kind of in a gray zone because my cancer prognosis was great. It was stage 1. It was not in the lymph nodes. But I was so young, and I was HER2 positive and estrogen and progesterone positive, so it was a very aggressive cancer. He said, you're in a gray zone. You could either do the chemo or not do the chemo. And at my young age and my young daughters, I was like, I want to do the chemo. I want to be sure. Yeah, we were able to just support each other. We just couldn't believe it. Like, one time we were sitting side by side in chemo bays, like, is this really happening? Like, one minute we're at fraternity parties, and the next minute we're in chemo bays, side by side. It was just
that was
unbelievable that we were both sitting there. Well, Cathy was always there to listen, because everybody, we both have a lot of family and friends that are fabulous, but to have a friend who knows really what you're going through was just unbelievable, because everybody would listen and, they can imagine what it's like when your hair falls out or when your starts coming back in and you look ridiculous. I mean, Cathy and I would be like, just couldn't even believe what we were going through. I remember the day I shaved it, I think I called her, I was hysterical, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, shouldn't be such a big deal. I have cancer, I lost a breast, and I'm crying over my hair coming out. But she understood, like, it's your identity, it's who you are, and when it all is on the floor around you, it's just devastating. We both had wigs. And
hated them.
We hated them, but we got a kick out of them, and sort of. We could laugh about them and compare notes about them, and now they're Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of the system that we both appreciated was the comprehensive approach, and we knew that all the doctors were talking to each other. They knew when we were in the building. They knew if we were running late from one appointment to the next. They knew what we were going to do. We definitely felt like there was that cohesion, and it wasn't just, it was cohesive. Everybody was talking to each other. They all had each other's notes. And even the front desk, when you checked in, they would say, oh, you're here for 4 appointments, so you're going to go here for these 2 and then go here for this one. And it just made it very smooth and easy. It makes me sad to think of anyone traveling this path. But, and then I only really worry when I have to have a mammogram or an MRI. And the rest of the year, it's not on the forefront of my mind at all. It's a memory. It's in the rearview mirror. I like the fact that they keep an eye on everything. That we go every year. They're constantly in contact with us and reminding us about appointments. You know what I mean? You're not just another number. I just had confidence because it was a teaching hospital that they knew the latest and greatest, and that they were up to date with any hospital in Boston. And I just felt like their expertise, anyone in, I think, northern New England with a real problem would go to Dartmouth-Hitchcock. And I just felt confident that I would be in good hands and they would hire the best of the best. I just feel like I can't thank her enough for bringing me to Norris Cotton Cancer Center and knowing that I'd be taken care of there. If you have to go through this, which I would not wish on my worst enemy, I wouldn't go anywhere else. I wouldn't go anywhere